welcome to Cooking with Mrs. Carlson.
I'm eating an Oreo right now.
Okay. All right, today we're going to be making a Philly cheesesteak, kind of sloppy Joe, I guess is what we'll call it. But we're doing this kind of cheating a little bit too. We're actually going to use a pound of hamburger for this instead of actual steak pieces. So this is an easy way to make a Philly cheesesteak. We'll call it that. All right, so all you're going to need is 1 pound of hamburger. I'm going to start that sauteing in our cast iron pan. Using the cast iron pan is going to help it crust over and brown up a little bit so it kind of resembles that steak taste. I diced up 1/2 of an onion, and I am mincing up some baby portobello mushrooms. Remember, when you are cleaning your mushrooms, you want to take a damp paper towel and just wipe the paper towel over the surface of the mushroom so that you don't peel off all of the skin. And then you're going to want to mince those up into pretty small pieces so you don't get a big bite of mushroom in your Philly cheesesteak. Okay, you'll need 1 cup of beef broth. We're going to put in 2 tablespoons of steak sauce and 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. We need a tablespoon of cornstarch, about 1/2 teaspoon of salt and pepper just for some seasoning. And if you have green pepper, I would do a green pepper. I didn't have one for this, but if you have a green pepper, dice that up and throw it in with this mixture as well. And we're going to put a clove of garlic in here. So your first step is just to get your hamburger browned up. I'm going to let it kind of just simmer so that the surface crusts over a little bit before I break it up. That will help give it that crusty kind of texture. So I'm going to let this cook for about a minute and a half before I stir this up, and then I'll come back here. This is the crust that you're looking for on your ground beef. So you want to try to get that on about 50% of your hamburger so that it resembles that steak taste. After your ground beef is browned and crusted up, you're going to take the hamburger out of the pan and just let it set aside for a little bit. Next, we're going to add in our mushrooms and our onions and our garlic. Now, if you had your green peppers, now would be the time to add this too. We're gonna let these saute up just a little bit just so that they can cook down before we add our meat back and put our sauce on. If you don't have a lot of hamburger fat in your pan, you might need to add about 1 tablespoon of oil so that it doesn't stick too much to your cast iron pan. Once your onions and mushrooms and garlic are sauteed down a little bit, you can add your hamburger back into that. Then we are going to put 1 cup of our beef broth into a measuring cup and mix in about 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Okay, we're going to add that to our beef mixture. This cornstarch is going to help the beef broth become more of a thicker gravy so that it tastes like that Philly cheesesteak sauce that you have. Next, we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of our steak sauce and 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. We're just going to let that cook down a little bit. Okay, after you add the tablespoon of your steak sauce, 2 tablespoons of your steak sauce and your tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, you're just going to want to let this cook down and thicken up just for a couple of minutes. Your last step is to put it on either a hamburger bun, a hot dog bun, a sub bun, whatever you prefer, and then top it with some provolone cheese. If you want your bun to be toasted and the provolone cheese melted, I would put that on a baking sheet and just put it under the broiler for a couple of minutes for that to brown up. But otherwise, you have Philly cheesesteak sloppy joes.